2016 WISE Conference brings together women in science to speak about their experiences in the field. Joining us today is the Executive Director of Missouri Cures Education Foundation, Dena Ladd. Thank you so much for being here.
Sarah, thank you for having me.
So women in science, women entrepreneurs, this is kind of the focus of the conference. Tell me more about it.
So on November 4th, we will have our third annual Women in Science and Entrepreneurship Conference, and it really brings together women in the field of science and entrepreneurship. We have two panels that have local women who are sitting on the panel, and they talk about their experiences. They share opportunities and challenges that they've had in the field. And then we will have a keynote speaker at lunch. That's Susan Solomon with the New York Stem Cell Foundation.
And so how did you come about this idea? I mean, I think there's the obvious notion, which are women at some stage, at one stage, were underrepresented in science, I think, still are, but it's growing. And so was that part of the idea of we should do a conference about this? And
yeah, you know, so I have the pleasure of really traveling around the state, and I work with some amazing researchers, a lot of women. And I used to think, wow, if this person in Kansas City could meet this researcher in St. Louis. So I went to some of my colleagues who are on the planning committee now with the Danforth Center and BioSTL and said, hey, let's do this conference called Women in Science and Entrepreneurship. And they said, let's give it a shot. So 3 years ago we started, and we had 300 women who came. Wow. And then last year was our second conference, and this will be our third annual conference. And we now do the WISE event all around the state, so we're in 5 cities.
Wow. So what do people take away from? I mean, it's just panels throughout the day, speakers throughout the day. But what do they sort of take away from it? What do they learn while they're there?
Well, we try to make sure that the women that are speaking talk about maybe what they're involved in St. Louis, maybe on the state level, even on a national level, because we want the women who attend to take away information on how they can build their career, how they can network. Networking is so important. A lot of talk is about mentorship and other organizations or events that they can get involved in. So the takeaway is really important because we want the women who attend to take something away from the conference and really utilize it with their career.
Is there something unique to the experience of being a woman in the science industry than it is, let's say, in something else that when we talk about this takeaway and what they're learning, that it's so important that they learn at this conference?
I think there really is. If you look around, the STEM field is so popular. People have all these STEM groups. They're promoting women in the science, technology, engineering, and math. And I think that the opportunities for women are getting greater and greater, but I still think it's a challenge. And I think it's a challenge for women in that field to network, meet other women in the field. So this is what we're hoping to achieve, is to let women in those fields come together, meet each other, talk, network, and so it's just, you know, a great opportunity to meet and hear from some amazing women.
And when we hear networking a lot, because there's so many networking events, sometimes people think of it as a way to perhaps transition to a new job, or is it going to be more of networking to kind of share the same experiences? Hey, this is what the work I do, what I kind of go through on a daily basis. What about you? Is it both?
I think it's kind of both, because the women who are in the research field, you know, they come to really meet other researchers, to hear about women in research. But I think there's a lot of women in that field who go on to maybe commercialize their work, their research, and start a business. So they get to hear about how is that done, and what women have been successful at doing that, and what are the mentoring opportunities in that field. So I think it's a little bit of everything.
A little bit of both. Well, we've got the information there for you on the screen. It's the 2016 WISE Conference. This is the third year, correct?
Third year.
Third year, and it's taking place Friday, November 4th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Union Station. For more information and to register, go to missouricures.org/events. Is there anything else you want to add?
Well, I would like to thank Union Station. They are our presenting sponsor, and some of our other sponsors, Monsanto, Cortex, St. Louis University, Washington University. So we have some really good support for the conference.
Those are excellent, excellent partners to have. Yes. All right, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right, well, we'll have more on the 2016 WISE Conference after this. Please stay with us.